Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me. We're going to be going through a flow class. We'll start by going through a pranayama. So find a comfortable seat, sit tall. Hands can rest on the knees of the thighs. You can have them either just simply resting, or you could have them in a mudra. Maybe Yana mudra would work good for you. So thumb and index finger together, palms open on the knees of the thighs. And we'll go through Kaphalabhati. We'll do 3 rounds of 33 today, and then we'll move into Analoma Viloma. This is our alternate nostril breathing. And today we're going to keep it super simple by inhaling for 5, exhaling for 10 without any retention. So let's get started. Nice tall spine. Again, the cueing for Kaphalabhati is inhale fully, exhale fully, half an inhale, and then you start. And it's again the forceful exhales through the nose with the pumping action in the low belly. Just imagine you're panting like a dog but through your nose. And it's about a 1 second count. We can't do it too fast or the belly doesn't soften enough and we can't get that nice passive inhale. And we tend to overdo it when we're first learning it, so know that it's okay if it's a bit more subtle or soft or quiet than you've maybe heard or saw other people practice it. So better to get a nice steady rhythm that feels good. Okay, we'll begin. Inhale fully. Exhale fully. Half an inhale to start. Inhale. Exhale. Half an inhale. Inhale. Exhale. Half an inhale to start. Last round. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, moving right away into Analoma Viloma. Left hand can stay with your mudra. Right hand will go into Vishnu mudra. So first 2 fingers down to the thumb pad. The other fingers are there for blocking the nostrils. We're not going to do any retention today, but you may find that you just naturally have a little bit of a pause. During that pause, you're welcome to block both nostrils and apply the bandhas for that brief pause, whatever that is for you. And we'll be inhaling for 5, exhaling for 10. So we'll begin. Full breath in to start. Full breath out. Block the right. Inhale left for 5. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Lock and pause. Exhale right. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8, Om 9, Om 10. Inhale right. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Brief pause. Exhale left. Om 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale left. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Brief pause. Exhale right. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8, Om 9, Om 10. Inhale right, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Lock and pause. Exhale left. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8, Om 9, Om 10. Inhale left. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Pause. Exhale right. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8, Om 9, Om 10. Inhale right. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Pause. Exhale left. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8, Om 9, Om 10. Continue on your own, inhaling for 5. Exhaling for 10. Complete your last round. When you've exhaled out to the left, just come to sit nice and tall with the eyes downcast or closed. You can flutter the eyes open, move around a little bit. So the why behind the pranayama. The Kaphalabhati is a cleansing breath. So we're trying to push out or pump out any kind of stale oxygen, or I like to think of it as just bringing more awareness to the low belly. So yes, you're going to get toning by the pumping action. You're going to be blowing out those puffs of air, so you're literally like blowing your nose, cleaning out your nasal passages, so that when you do the Analoma Viloma, they're clear or clearer. And the Analoma Viloma is to help us regulate the breath. When we can learn to regulate the breath, we can regulate our nervous system. So you may find that exhaling for 10, you might get to like 7 or 8 and you feel like you've ran out of air. Well, this is helping us to slow down the first part of the exhale so that when we get to 10, we still have some air to exhale. So again, regulating the breath so we can regulate the nervous system. So doing it slowly over time builds up our confidence and our ability to take control over some of our automatic jobs. So breathing happens without us thinking about it, but we can regulate it and then affect the rest of the body. Also, one of the only ways to purify the nadis, so the energy channels throughout the body relating to our chakras, the koshas, and how our mind works and how we can ease into meditation. So we're going to get started on our asana practice, a physical practice of yoga now. And I'd like to start by warming up all the major joints. So from your nice comfortable tall seat, you're just going to start to take the neck from side to side, or the head from side to side, stretching the side of the neck. And you can pause and hold a little longer on one side or the other if you need to. Or you can just continue with the action of rolling from side to side. After the side to side, we'll do like our shoulder check. So head is up and then turning to both directions. And then after the shoulder check, move going into your circles. So either a half circle or a full circle if you know it's safe for your neck. Letting the head come back to center. We'll start now on the shoulders. Rolling the shoulders in both directions. Trying to get all four planes, so forward, up, back, and down. Switching the direction when you intuitively know that it's time. And then moving on to elbows and wrists. It's a funny little move, but you can just rotate, open and close the joint. Move things around, see how they feel today. And of course, rotating through the wrists as well, both directions. And as soon as you feel like you're ready to move on, we'll go into the hips. So hands can come down, rolling the body in a circle. You want to be able to feel this in the low back, through the hips. And of course, you're going to go both directions. And you want to keep the actions going until you feel like the joint has warmed, or that it's moving more freely. You feel like you're not so poppy or cracky or tight. You might need longer on one joint that I'm giving you, so know that you can always stay and catch up. We'll make sure we've gone both directions. And then we will come back up to sit tall, and we'll come into hands and knees or tabletop, Varmanasana. And once you're in your stable tabletop with your belly firm, just start to extend and straighten one leg at a time, getting into your knee joint, flexion through the hip. Hold your leg extended, circling through the ankle, both directions, pointing and flexing. Keeping your belly firm, evenly weighted down through your hands. And then beginning to draw the knee underneath you and out and around in a circle. Then again, we'll go both directions. You might want to start small and gradually increase the range of motion. Finishing on this side, we'll come back to tabletop. And again, bending and straightening the left leg back through the knee joint. Holding the leg back, circling the ankle. And then coming to circle the knee, hip range of motion here. And finishing your hip circles, we'll meet back in tabletop. You can take your hands just slightly ahead of the shoulders now. All we're going to do is let our weight go from forward to back. So think plank on your knees to a version of child's pose where you don't get to stay. So rocking the hips forward and back. You're getting used to having a little bit more weight down through the wrists, making adjustments or patting the knees if things are a little tender. Next time you come forward into plank on your knees, hold. And we're going to lower to the belly. From here, just taking your time, adjusting the legs, and then easing your way up into a back bend of choice. So it might be a low cobra, just a slight back bend. You may choose to go into Sphinx instead, or you may feel like you want to come up a little higher into either high cobra or up dog. So it's got to feel good. It has to feel safe. You can take a few breaths just coming in and out of it to make sure that the body is ready. And then we're going to meet back with us lower to the floor so we can press back up to plank on the knees. And then you can let yourself slide back into a child's pose. And you can stay this time. So stretch the arms, let the hips settle onto the heels. And we'll meet back up, tabletop. You're going to step the left foot forward, so you might want to bring your hands onto props or bring them onto fingertips. Left foot comes forward, and then you're gliding forward and back. So you're going from the front knee being bent, so it's straight. And your hands can slide with you if you need a little more support. And of course, you can go back and forth at your own pace. Stay a little longer if you need a bit more time. We'll meet back in our low lunge so we can step back table, and we'll switch sides. Right foot forward, and beginning the action of gliding forward and back. We'll meet back as we come forward and stepping back to tabletop. From here, set your hands so we can rise up into down dog, so tucking the toes, lifting the knees and the hips. And then once you've lifted up, bend and straighten the knees, move around, rock it out. If down dog's not quite the right pose for you, know that you've always got child's pose or table as an option. And then once you've spent some time in your down dog, we'll meet at the top of the mat in a forward fold. Just take your feet to step until you're at the top, and then relax, fold down. From your forward fold, we'll rise up onto either the fingertips, or we'll bring hands to shins for our extended lift. We want nice, long, straight spine, broad through the collarbones. Legs can either be bent or straight. Exhale and fold. And then we'll bend the knees, swoop the arms all the way up, full body stretch. And bringing the hands down in front of the heart. Moving through our sun salutation, we'll reach the arms up. Turn the palms out, come back down, forward fold. We'll rise up onto the fingertips. And then we'll plant the hands. We'll step the right foot to the very back of the mat, letting the back knee come down. And once you're stable, reach the arms out. Keep the belly firm. Control how much of your hips lower and scoop forward. So you want to make sure you have control over the posture. Your legs are scissoring together. And we'll bring the hands back down so we can step back to plank or plank on the knees. And we'll go through our vinyasa. So we're lowering down to the belly. We're going to choose the back bend that seems appropriate. We'll lower back down, tuck the toes, press up, and meeting in down dog. From down dog, we're going to step the right foot forward between the hands. The back knee comes down, and the arms rise up. Hands come back down to the mat, and you're stepping to the top of the mat, forward fold. Exhale and soften. Rise up, extended lift, either fingertips or hands to shins. Exhale and fold. Bend the knees, swoop the arms all the way up. And hands to heart center. That's half of one round. Inhale the arms back up. Turn the palms out, come back down, forward fold. Rising up, extended lift. Bend the knees, plant the hands, left foot steps back, knee comes down, arms swoop up. Know that you always have the option of keeping your hands on the floor or hands to knee. And of course, you have the option of arms up or arms up with a back bend. Releasing the hands to the floor, we'll step back to plank and move through our vinyasa. Lowering to the belly. Rising up into our back bend. Releasing back down, pressing up. Back to down dog. Left foot steps forward. Back knee comes down, arms swoop up if you're going there. Hands come back down. We're stepping to the top of the mat, forward fold. Rising up, extended lift. Exhale and fold. Bend the knees, swoop the arms up. Hands to heart center. One more time, just like that. Arms swoop up. Exhale, forward fold. Rising up, extended lift. Bend the knees, plant the hands. Right foot steps back. Arms sweep up. Hands come back down. We're stepping back to plank or plank on the knees. Exhale to the belly. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, release. Press up and back, down dog. Right foot forward. Arms reach up. Hands come down, top of the mat, forward fold. Rise up, extended lift. Exhale and fold. Bend the knees, swoop the arms up. Hands to heart. Last half, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Extended lift. Plant the hands, left foot steps back. Knee comes down, arms swoop up. Hands come back down. We're stepping back to plank or plank on the knees. And we're lowering to the belly. Untuck the toes, rise up, back bend of choice. Exhale, release. Press up and back, down dog. Left foot steps forward. Knee comes down, arms swoop up. Releasing the hands. Top of the mat, forward fold. Exhale and bow. Inhale, extended lift. Exhale, release. Bend the knees, swoop the arms up. Hands to heart center. So just releasing the hands and coming to stand in Tadasana. Finding stability through the feet. Evenness through the feet. So we all have a natural tendency to either be a little bit further forward or back or side to side. So trying to find center. Hands can either be on the hips or on the support. We're going to keep the belly firm, reach the crown of the head up. And then take all the way to the left foot, lifting the right heel. Have a drishti or a focal point for the eyes. And when you're ready, lifting the right foot up off the floor, holding. Option to have the right hand hold and support the right knee. And then we're going to take the knee out to the side. Just where it naturally can go, and we're going to hold. We'll bring the knee back to center. Keeping it at center, can you take a little turn to both directions? So you'll turn first to one way. Come back to center, and a little turn to the other side. Coming back to center, release the right foot. Walk it out. And moving to the other side. So all the way to the right foot, left heel lifts. Strengthen the standing leg, firm the belly, reach the crown of the head. Hands again are either on the hips or on support. Lifting the left foot when you feel ready, and then choosing if you're going to support the knee with the hand or not. And then when you feel ready, opening the knee out to the side and then holding here. Bring the knee back to center. And again, you're going to just make that little turn both directions. You can decide which way you go first. And the key here is that the eyes are moving as well. So you're changing your drishti point, and it'll make you wobbly. And that's okay. We want to challenge the body to balance here. So you're going to go to both sides. And you'll eventually come back to center and release the left foot. Move around, walk it out. And then we'll reset ourselves. All the weight again will be to the left foot. Right heel lifts. And now coming into our tree pose. So the knee opens up. And then you're going to decide if you're going to bring your foot up off the floor to balance on the standing leg. At any point along the leg will be fine. You can always reach down and pull it a little higher. Try to keep the hips level as best you can. And then once the foot has lifted or you feel balanced, do something creative with the arms. So maybe they go out to the side or up overhead. Maybe you want to keep them moving. Or maybe the challenge comes from just holding the balance or from moving the eyes around. So we want those little wobbles. We want to know that the muscles can respond to hold that steady and balanced. And coming back to stability and releasing the right foot and going to the other side. So reset the feet. Left heel is now lifting and then opening out to the side so the knee is open. And then deciding where you're going to bring your foot if you're lifting it off the floor. And then trying to find stability even though you're moving your arms around or you're moving your eyes around. So we always seem to have these ideas of like what success looks like. Success in the pose. And that's just a bunch of hooey. It's doing the pose that's success. That's it, just trying. So make sure you've had at least a wobble or two. If you haven't, do it on purpose. Let go of any expectations. And then when we feel ready, we'll release the left foot, come back to Tadasana. You may want to rotate the ankles. So now that we've fine-tuned our focus, we're going to move through some standing postures. So you're going to come back to the top of the mat. Take a nice big arm swoop all the way up. And exhale, forward fold. Rise up, extended lift. And then bend the knees, plant the hands, step the right foot to the very back of your mat for a lunge. So having the right amount of distance between your feet will be important so that the transitions to come up to standing and moving around are a little smoother, a little easier. So we want to be pressing down through the whole sole of your left foot, lifting the back right knee and leg nice and strong and firm. Firmness through the belly as well. Rising up onto fingertips. Reach through the crown of your head. So create that energy from the back heel out the crown of the head. And then swoop your arms back. And then inhale, rise up. So we're in our high lunge. Back knee could always go back down if you need to take a rest or a break. And then just joining back in when you can. From our high lunge, we're going to be opening up into warrior two. So the back foot turns and rotates, opening the chest to the long edge of the mat, reaching the fingertips to either end. And then we're moving from warrior two into our star pose. So the front leg straightens, you pick up the ball of your left foot, and you pivot. So we're now facing the long edge of the mat, reaching the arms out to the side. Legs are straight. Keeping all of this, you're going to hinge forward from the waist and bring your hands either to the outsides of the feet or the outsides of the legs. Bringing the hands now underneath the shoulders. Again, you could be on fingertips. Turn your heels in, your toes out in preparation for your goddess pose. So we're going to be bending through the knees and sitting our bum down nice and low. You want to have stability and strength. Push the knees apart and then bring the hands to thighs so that you can rise up. So we want to be stacking the shoulders over top of the hips. We're pushing the knees out and away, sitting our bum down nice and low. From here, You can either just hold, or you can bring one forearm down, reach the opposite arm up and over. And you'll be moving from side to side. So your choice is to either stay steady at center or to go into the side bends at your own pace. Keep the bum nice and low, and try not to forget to push the knees out and away from each other. So really firing up the glutes and the inner thighs. We're going to meet back at center. And then from center, get really nice and low. Support your upper body with the forearms on the thighs. Think like a wide squat. And you can let yourself just gently sway side to side. Coming back to center, release the hands back underneath the shoulders, straighten the legs, and pivot the feet back so that the toes point forward. Rise up again onto your fingertips and turn your left foot back so that it's facing the top of the mat. And you've got your warrior two stance back. Then you're going to walk your hands over to the left foot until you can bring your left hand to the outside of the left foot, either on a prop or on your fingertips, or palm can be down. We're moving into our triangle pose. So right hand comes to right hip. Roll your shoulder down and back. Take the gaze up towards the ceiling if that's okay for the neck. And then maybe the right arm wants to reach up as well. So both legs are straight. Left hand is down. Right hand is reaching up or hand to hip. We're going to bring the gaze of the right hand back down to the floor. And we're going to walk our hands again to the right. So you're coming through your wide-legged forward fold so the left foot has pivoted to face forward. A little pause here at the center. And then we're going to continue to walk our feet all the way over to the right foot, pivoting until you're back into a lunge. So you're going to be facing the back of your mat in a lunge. Again, the back knee is lifted and strong. Pressing down to the whole sole of your right foot. Wiggle your feet around and make sure that you feel stable because we are rising up. So we're coming down to the fingertips, and then the arms swoop back, and then they rise up. High lunge. So adjusting the feet if they didn't land quite right, reaching the arms up, pressing down to the front foot, back leg is strongly lifted. You're on the ball of the back foot for this position. From high lunge, warrior two. So the back foot pivots, reaching the arms. Chest is facing the long edge of your mat. Fingertips are reaching. Straighten the front leg. Pick up the ball of your right foot. Pivot. You're in your star pose. From here, hinging from the hips, fold forward. Hands are either going to the outsides of the legs or the outsides of the feet, and you're pulling yourself down. Rising up so that the fingertips again are underneath the shoulders. Have some support. Turn your heels in, your toes out. Bend deeply through the knees and sit down into your goddess squat. So we want to have lots of strength and stability, getting the bum as low as we can, and pushing the knees out wide from each other. Once you've got down nice and low and stable, hands or forearms can come to the thighs. And then you're trying to stack shoulders over hips, keeping the knees going out and away. So strong, strong pose. Option again is to just hold here at center or go back into the side bends. And you're just going to float from side to side. You might want to stay or hold a little longer. And we're not going to stop the action in the legs. So push the knees wide. Keep the bum low. We're going to meet back at center. Again, drop the bum, rest your forearms on the thighs. Use your arms to help push the knees out and apart. And then you can let yourself just glide, shifting the weight from side to side. There shouldn't be any discomfort in the knees. If there is, you may have your feet rotated at the wrong angle for you. You may need to go a little bit more out or in so that when you're gliding side to side, there's no discomfort. Coming to center, we're taking our hands back down to the floor, straightening the legs, and again, pivoting the feet so that the toes face the long edge of the mat. Pull down. Rising up onto fingertips, turn your right foot back to face the top of your mat, and then walk your hands to the right. Right hand will come to the outside of the right foot. Left hand to left hip. We're opening up into our triangle pose. So we want the chest to be facing the long edge of the mat. Legs are straight. Right hand is either on fingertips, palm, or prop. And then maybe the top arm wants to reach up. The gaze can either follow the top arm, or you can look forward or even down. The gaze will come down first and then the left hand. Bend into the forward knee. Walk your hands back to center. You can pivot your foot and melt yourself down. Rise back up onto fingertips. Heel toe your feet back towards each other. And then melt back down, forward fold. Bend the knees, swoop the arms up. Nice big stretch. Releasing the hands down. Again, we're going to come so that we have a comfortable Tadasana, standing evenly weighted through the feet. And we're going to work on another balancing sequence, but first we're going to do a little prep or warm-up. So from just standing, roll the shoulders a couple times, both directions. And then bringing the arms out in front, little robot arms. We're going into our eagle arms. So right elbow's going to go underneath the left, making an X. And then maybe the backs of the hands or the full wrap. And we're going to lift the elbows, but draw the shoulder blades down. You're going to try to keep your arms in line with either the center of your nose or the center of your chest. Releasing and re-wrap the arms other side. So right elbow on top, elbows up, shoulder blades down. Releasing the arms, let them shake out. And then just practicing the eagle legs now. So have softness through the knees, hands can either be on hips or on a support. Bending through the knees, right leg over top of left. And this might be where you stay. Maybe the toe of your right foot comes to the floor and you just bend and lower. Or you could do the full wrap. And then if you're doing the full wrap, you'll notice how the knees want to go over to the sides. So you're trying to pull them back to center. So a lot of strength through the outer hips. I needed my support there. And then you can work on sinking down lower. Hands again can be wherever you need them to work with the balance. We'll just take a moment to pause. And then we'll rise up, unravel. And you're going to try the other side. So same thing, start with the knees slightly bent. One knee over the other, either coming so that the toes are helping you balance, or doing the full wrap if you can get there. And if you've got the full wrap, knees to center, And then sitting down as far as you can comfortably go, and then hold for a few breaths. And then rising up to unravel. So why do we do balance poses? Because they're frustrating and they're hard and they're challenging and it's hard to keep our focus. But if we can learn here, then we can keep our focus in other areas. So today we're going to go from star pose balance into our eagle pose. And it's almost for sure going to be wobbly, and that's the whole point. So we're going to start with all the weight to the left foot, bend the knees slightly, and step the right foot out and away from you. So you're just balancing on the big toe. And then reach the arms out to the side. So create the sensation of lengthening through the arms, and then you're going to tip to the left, and maybe the right leg lifts. So you just like you're making a snow angel, or you've created your star shape, and you're going to balance. So you can decide how high you lift your leg. Maybe you got a fingertip on a couch or a chair. You might have a really strong straight standing leg, or you might have a slight bend so you can catch yourself when you start to wobble. You got firmness through the belly, you've got your posture still just as you have it in every shape, hopefully. And so from here, we're going to go right into our eagle pose. So you rise up, right leg wraps around the left, wrapping the arms, then coming down into eagle. You could just do the legs, you could just do the arms, or you can get them both going. You might wobble and fall, use your support. And remember, success comes from trying the pose, not from actually doing the pose. So if you do the pose, that just means that you need a harder pose or a different pose, and you just keep raising the bar continually. There's no end to the bar moving up. So just enjoy the challenge of doing the shape. And when you're ready, you're going to unravel and come back into your star shape as best you can. And then we'll release and come back to Tadasana. So you might really feel the work there in the standing foot or the ankle or the leg, and that's awesome. Building strength, building awareness. Moving to the other side, so all the way to the right foot, arms reach out wide, left toe just steps out. Balancing on the left big toe, and it could stay there, by the way. When you feel like you've got your posture, tipping to the side, maybe lifting the left leg. So we're holding, we're trying to find our focus. And of course, when you get your focus, then the attention hopefully could go to the breath. Make it a little smoother, a little more even. And when you feel like you're ready, eagle pose. Maybe it's just the legs, maybe it's just the arms, maybe it's both. We're going to have a moment in whatever version you're getting into, a moment of pause, reflection. And if you start to wobble or fall, maybe you just unravel and go right back into your star pose. And then releasing with control, Tadasana. Roll the shoulders. And reset. All right, from wherever you're at, we're going back to the top of the mat. Re-establishing Tadasana. We're going to reach the arms up and we're going to come into our chair pose. So the arms go up and the bum goes back. Lots of weight into the heels. Firmness through the belly. Think about taking the tip of your tailbone and just pointing it ever so slightly to the back of the heels. Exhale, forward fold. Rising up, extended lift. And from your extended lift, bend your knees and step your right foot to the very back, coming all the way up, high lunge. Back foot turns and rotates, warrior two. Make any small adjustments if they didn't land quite right. Bend a little deeper into the forward knee, get the knee just slightly ahead of the ankle or right on top. Straightening the front leg. Keeping the legs straight, send your hips to the back of the mat, and we're hinging forward into our triangle pose. So reach, 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 until the left hand comes to the outside of the left foot. Maybe it's fingertips down, maybe it's palms, or maybe your hands are on the block. Top arm reaches, gaze can follow the top hand. Now starting to soften or bend into the forward knee, come back up, warrior two. Again, straightening the front leg, back hand to back thigh, reverse your triangle. Top arm reaches up, and you're leaning back. And coming back, warrior two. And back into high lunge. So the back foot turns and lifts, arms swoop forward. Hands come down, and you're stepping to the top of the mat, forward fold. We'll rise up, extended lift, so either fingertips or hands to shins. Bend the knees, swoop the arms back up, chair pose. Send your hips a little farther back, get more weight again into the heels. You should be able to see the tops of your feet or the tops of your toes. And then let's see if we can make the transition to high lunge. So all the way to the right foot, step the left foot back, and you should already be there. If you're not quite, or it was a little wobbly, just sort out your feet, create stability. And we're opening up, warrior two. Back foot turns and rotates. Again, your chest is facing the long edge of your mat, fingertips are reaching, sorting out the feet if they didn't land quite right. Straighten the front leg. And coming into your triangle pose, so try to create length from the waist up to the armpits. Legs are straight. Right hand coming down to the floor to a prop. Left hand reaches up. Bending into the forward knee, warrior two. Straightening the front leg, back hand to back thigh, reverse triangle. Back to warrior two. And back to high lunge. Back foot pivots, you're on the ball of the back foot. And let's let's see if we can go from high lunge into our chair pose. So you might need to get a little bounce, but we're gonna land in chair. And exhale, forward fold. Rise up, extended lift. And then from extended lift, heel toe your feet out so that the toes point out, the heels point in preparation for malasana or squat. Once you've got your feet positioned, bend the knees and lower down. So you may have props underneath your sit bones. You may not be able to bring your heels down. Doesn't matter. Don't bring anything underneath the heels. Just see if you can balance on the balls of your feet, because we're going to be stepping back into our lizard pose. Your hands can either be out in front or they could be in prayer. And just like we did in Goddess, see if you can create that action of moving the knees away from each other. So opening up, getting your bum to drop nice and low. And you can use your elbows or your forearms to help with that pushing away action. Again, there shouldn't be any discomfort in the knees. If there is, you may need to be a bit higher, more like a wall squat. Or you may need to be lowered all the way down onto your sit bones with your legs out in front. So from malasana or squat, we're going to bring the hands out in front down to the floor. You're going to lift your sit bones up, and then you're going to step the right foot to the very back of the mat. You can let the back knee come down. You're in your lizard pose now. Left foot is still slightly rotated out. You can let the knee open up a couple times, just find the right angle for the hip. You can lift and lower the back knee again until you find just the right degree of sensation. And then you can make the decision if you want to stay on your hands or if you'd like to come lower, perhaps to the forearms or forearms to a prop. Now we're going to stay and hold the shape. Feel free to rock and move and readjust several times. And if you find just the right spot, see if you can stay, close down the eyes, and perhaps think about what your definition of success is. How do you define success? And then how does that apply to your yoga practice? Now, if you'd like to add on, we'll go into a quad stretch as well. You can do this from forearms or from your hands. All we're going to do is lift the back foot, pull it towards the bum or the heel to the bum. And then I usually do opposite arm reaching back, but if you prefer to reach back same side, you can try that. And we're going to increase the stretch on the quad by pulling the heel towards the bum. You can have a little rotation through the torso so it's easier to get to the foot. We're going to release the back foot, and we're going to come back up onto the hands. And if this doesn't seem like a safe transition for you, just get there however you can. But we're going to see if we can lift the back knee, and you might need again take a little bounce, and we're going to step the back foot back up into our squat or malasana. It might seem like it's kind of stuck. And then once you're here, you can move around. Again, use your arms to push the knees wide. And in just a couple breaths, we'll go to the other side. So bringing the hands back down, lifting the sit bones up until you can step your left foot to the very back. Let the back knee come down. Choose if you're going to stay on the hands or if you want to lower to the forearms. Adjust your back knee as many times. Let your right knee open up a few times. Find the right sensation. And then we'll hold. So, what is your definition of success? For some, it's like achieving the ideal. So if you're thinking of yoga postures, if you see a picture in a book and you're able to replicate it, that may be success. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. For others, it might be more related to how it feels. So do you feel good after your yoga practice or after a posture? Does it feel like you have more space or you have the ability to move freer? That may be success. And for others, it may be more related to a sense of connection with others. So if you've ever been in a class and maybe one or two people were able to do something and kind of congratulate or encourage each other, that might be success for some people. The ability to connect through your physical practice, through the practice of a posture, that may be really important, the sense of connection. None of the answers are right or wrong, of course, but it's good to know what your success definition is so that you can keep your focus there when you're practicing. All right, so if you're going to go into the quad stretch on this side, again, pull heel to bum. You may need to have a nice twist or rotation through the torso so that you can get one hand to reach back a little farther or easier. You may need a strap. And then just come to wherever you can or stay in your lizard pose. Maybe just rocking a little bit, making adjustments to the knees, to the hips. And we'll stay for a few more breaths. Releasing the back foot, bringing the hands back down. And of course, we're going to make the same transition from lizard to malasana or squat. So the back knee lifts. You might need a little bounce or a hop, and you're going to step your back foot all the way to the top. Land, make adjustments, move around. From here, we're going to come just to sit. One hand can go out in front, one hand behind, so you can lower yourself more in control. Knees will come back out in front. And we'll go through a couple of rounds of seated cat-cow. So you can let the back round and soften. And then pull yourself up nice and tall and straight, press the shoulders back. We want the wave-like action through the spine. We'll come back up nice and tall, recreate your beautiful posture, and we'll move into our Navasana pose. You can choose your variation, so maybe the hands are reaching forward, perhaps they're supporting the backs of the legs. Whichever one you go into, think mostly about the lift through the sternum and the shoulders being drawn down and back, so that there's no rounding through the upper back. And then ideally, I'd like you to go through two versions of the same pose, so think like boat to canoe. So once you get into your starting shape, let yourself go back slightly and then pull yourself back up. It could just be like an inch or two, it might be bigger. Your feet could be on the floor, or maybe you're just letting yourself lean back. But we'll keep this going for, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 more breaths. That's my hip popping, if you can hear that. Holding at the top. Get your feet a little higher, straighter maybe. And then we'll release the feet down. Let your back round. Now wrap your arms around your shins. Perhaps the forehead can come down towards the knees. And then pulling yourself up nice and straight again. So from here, you can keep your right knee at the chest and extend your left leg out long. Pull your right heel in nice and close. Option is to create the most beautiful posture you can. So always thinking about the crown of your head getting closer to the ceiling. How do you create that length? By firmness through the belly, the side waist, the lift through the sternum, and then that gentle action of shoulders drawing down as the crown of the head reaches up. This may be where you want to do your work or your practice today, just staying right here. Or you may want to bring your arms and your body to the inside of the right knee, and then start to fold over the straight leg. Your hands can come down wherever you need some support. You could use a strap around your foot if you like. And then we're going to try to keep the right knee as close to the right shoulder as possible. So squeeze knee to shoulder, and then fold over the straight leg. We'll hold here. If you've gone forward on the inside of the right knee, and maybe you've got your hands to the shins or to the foot, start to pull your foot towards you. So you're bending your left knee, and you're getting your hand somewhere along your leg or your foot. Then you're going to pick up, and you're going to lean back and see if you can come into your heron pose. So from the side, it'll be maybe clearer for me to show. Right heel is still in, arms are forward, and then you're trying to straighten and extend the left leg. May not go straight, that's okay, doesn't matter. We're just trying to create length through the back of the left leg. Maintaining our tall posture. And we'll release. Left heel now nice and close to you, right leg extends. Adjusting the sit bones, recreating your beautiful tall posture. And then making that decision again. Maybe this is where you need to do the work. Just staying tall, creating a perfect L shape with the body. Or bringing your arms to the inside, left knee, left shoulder nice and hugging. And then folding over the straight leg. So sometimes I think what we could do better at is talking about what the postures should feel like rather than what they look like. Because our bodies are just so different. It's not a very good representation of the meaning or the purpose behind the pose as to the visual look of it. So for example, in this posture that we're working on, primarily working on lengthening the back of the leg while being able to keep your posture. And why do we talk about our posture so much? This lengthening, just like verbal diarrhea. And it's because we want to be able to maintain that posture throughout our whole day. We need to build the postural muscles, we need to build the awareness so that we don't have to think about it anymore. That's just how we naturally move and go about our day-to-day stuff. So same with why would we want to lengthen the back of the leg? Well, it just makes our day easier. We can do more things with greater ease without having to think about it. So hopefully preventing injury, obviously, but there's also just connection between different body parts. So for me right now, I really enjoy the sensation of my left knee being close to my left shoulder. It's like a hug. It feels really supportive and really secure. Having my hands on my leg or on my foot, it's like a feedback loop. My foot can feel my hands can feel my foot. I'm supporting the rest of my body. So we'll just take another breath or two, and then again we're moving into our heron pose. So you may be able to get to it from here. If you're able to lift your right leg, you can come right on up, or you may have to have a bend in it and then re-straighten. So if we shift our definition of success, maybe a little bit more towards how does the pose feel versus how the pose looks. We might find a little bit more joy and ease in our practice. Just a few more breaths. And then we'll release. And we're going to extend the legs back out in front. You can shake them out, move them around. If you wanted to add a little lift on your sit bones, now would be a good time. And we're going to come into our butterfly pose, but the feet are far away from you, so you've got a diamond shape with the legs. You might have to lift and lower your hips a few times. And then again, the decision as to whether or not you're going to work on your posture, holding a nice tall posture, or keeping that and folding forward. Or if it's more appropriate for you, perhaps it's more of a yin approach to your butterfly. So softening and rounding forward, being super relaxed. Any approach is good as long as it's the one for you. So wherever you went, come back up so that you're upright and take your fingertips behind your hips, tenting the fingers. And we're going to press down through the fingertips, lift the hips up off the floor, and then push yourself forward so that the groin gets all the way to the heels. Walk your hands forward. Hang on to the toes, and now press your knees down. So we're in a nice tight butterfly. You could again add a forward fold if you wanted to add on. And then we're going to move back to where we started. So again, the fingertips are behind you, perhaps tenting the fingers. Lift the hips and pull your hips back. You're back into your diamond shape. Once you're here, draw the knees back together. Making sure that you're in the middle of your mat. If you wanted to add an extra layer or socks or anything, now would be the time. And then just making sure that you have a prop nearby. Hopefully either a folded blanket or a block. Or a bolster. And we'll lower down onto the back, drawing the knees into the chest. Wrap the arms around the shins. You can rock side to side, massaging the low back and the hips. We'll rock back to center. And once you're at center, feet come back down to the floor. Lift your hips and slide the prop underneath your pelvis. Make sure the shoulders have been adjusted, so you want to lift the chest, tuck the shoulder blades underneath. Hands can be either down by the hips or up to the side. And then we'll bring the knees towards the chest. And just let them come towards your chest again, just like you did without the prop. You might want to squeeze the knees in. Depending on the prop, you may feel like it's appropriate to rock gently side to side. And then we'll release the legs up towards the ceiling. Now once the legs have lifted, you may intuitively want to roll the ankles, point and flex the feet. You may want to, I call it treading water. You may want to open up into a straddle. So just let your legs move and do whatever they want, whatever feels really good. Or maybe they just want to stay and float above you. Perhaps you have the knees bent. So I really like eagle legs for being supported on the prop. You can give it a shot, see if it feels good for you. It's a nice way to practice having your knees lined up with the center of your chest without the knees being pulled to one side or the other, so you can visually see the knees more, and then you can do that work with the hips to get them to be squared. You can also do your butterfly pose from here, reaching up, grabbing the feet, pushing your knees out and away from you. You got the support of the prop underneath you. If you're working on lotus pose, you can practice either half lotus, bringing this outside edge of your foot into the hip crease, perhaps just one-sided, or bringing your other foot into lotus. It might feel actually quite a bit easier here than if you were upright. You can move around. So explore, play. At some point you should come to where you just want to be still. And that might take longer one day versus another, but eventually there should be a sense of stillness. Maybe the eyes intuitively start to close, you're resting your hands. I like to have my hands resting on the belly. Legs are super relaxed, and we're just going to stay here for our Shavasana. Now, if this isn't appropriate for you, of course, ease your way down to come onto your back or your side or your belly. And we'll spend 3 to 4 more minutes with stillness. If the mind is reluctant to settle, you could go back to thinking about what your definition of success is, perhaps really defining it, and then applying that to your Shavasana. So first define what success is, and then apply it to what you're doing. let your knees come down towards the chest again. You may want to wrap your arms around the knees and the shins. And then 1 foot at a time, coming back down to the floor. Really be mindful of the low back here. Once the feet have landed, lift your hips, slide the prop out, and just pause for a moment with the back on the floor. A couple deeper breaths here would be a really good idea. And then moving your feet so that they're a little bit closer to your sit bones. Hands can come down towards the floor. We're just going to move through our back imprint. So notice that there's a natural curve in your low back. There's some space. And then I want you to flatten it out. So press the low back into the floor. You'll feel the abdominals firm. And then we're going to just move in and out of that. So softening, letting the arch come back. And then pressing, push the low back into the floor. A little mini cat-cow action in the low back. Release. And stretch your legs out long, take your arms up overhead, full body stretch. And then last time, knees to chest. You're either going to rock your way forward and back to come up to seated, or you'll go to your side and press yourself up to seated. And we'll meet back upright, cross-legged if that's comfortable. So thinking about the idea of success, what's important, I think, is to begin your yoga practice always with your intention and rotate different intentions all the time. So sometimes success comes from achieving something that you hold as an ideal. So yes, I want to do this and I did that, that is success. It might also be more about how did I feel after I did that. Maybe it didn't go quite the way I planned, or I didn't get to where I wanted, but I feel fantastic. That may be success. Or success may be connection. Maybe mind to body within your own container, or maybe it's with another, whether it's an instructor or another participant. So you won't be able to define your success unless you have your intention set. and to know what your definition of success is. So we'll end the class by closing the eyes, bringing back our posture, and allowing yourself a few moments to think about whether or not you embodied your intention and or whether or not you achieved success. Bring our hands together in front of the heart. Thank you for allowing me to guide your practice. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day or evening, and hope to see you again soon. Namaste.